As the veil of night descends and the world quiets, let's drift into a story of wonder and flight. Welcome to tonight's journey with Firo, the noble falcon, whose quest through the emerald forest whispers of magic and ancient wisdom. Feel the day's worries lighten as you glide on Firo's wings, over mystical lands and under starlit skies. Let each breath draw you deeper into tranquility, your spirit soaring with Firo, towards dreams of freedom and discovery. So, close your eyes, embrace the calm of the night, and let your imagination take flight with Firo's story. Good night, and may your dreams be as boundless and adventurous as the far-long journey. Chapter 1. The Falcon Rises. In the heart of the emerald forest are the trees whispered ancient secrets, and the air shimmered with enchantment. A noble falcon named Firo awoke at dawn. His feathers glinted like polished sapphire under the first light, and his eyes sparkled with a newfound purpose. Forest, alive with the songs of the morning, seemed to celebrate the awakening of one destined for a journey unlike any other. Firo stretched his wings, feeling an unusual lightness, a call that resonated deep within his spirit. The ancient oak, the oldest and wisest tree in the forest, beckoned him with a rustle of leaves that sounded like gentle laughter. Firo, it whispered, its voice like the wind through the leaves. You are chosen. Chosen. The word echoed in Firo's heart. He flew to the ancient oak, perched on one of its mighty branches that felt like home. The world beyond is vast and filled with stories of courage and freedom. The oak continued, its words imbued with a magic that made the air around them shimmer. You, Firo, are to witness these stories, learn from them, and share their wisdom with the animal kingdom. But how? Firo's voice of awe and uncertainty. How am I to find these stories? The ancient oak responded, and from its deepest bark, it offered a feather. But this was no ordinary feather with a light that seemed to hold the very essence of the forest. This feather will guide you to where the stories unfold. Trust in its light and trust in your wings. Firo accepted the feather, tucking it beside his own. The warmth spread through him, a confirmation of his mission, with a heart full of questions. But a spirit open and bright purpose, he took flight, soaring above it as Firo ascended. The forest below bathed in the golden hues of dawn. He couldn't help but marvel at the beauty of the world he was about. The gift of the ancient oak, the glowing feather, pulsed gently against his side, a constant reminder of the trust placed in him. His first destination revealed itself as a gentle pull, a jab in the direction of the rising sun. Firo followed, letting the feather guide him over hills and rivers. Through mist that danced upon the morning air, he flew over the valley of shadows, where the light seemed to hesitate, and a river of whispers, where the water sang of old regrets and new hopes. Each sight brought a sense of wonder, a realization of the vastness of his quest. Firo felt a deepening connection to the world beneath his wings, an empathy for its struggles and joys. The journey, he realized, was not just about witnessing stories, but also about understanding the heart of freedom and the strength that lies in courage. The day waned as Firo reached the mountain that touched the sky. Its peace, cloaked in clouds, reached towards the heavens, a testament to the earth's reach for the stars. It was here at the foot of the mountain that Firo encountered the lone wolf. Fear across the valley of shadows tested him in ways he had not anticipated. The valley, ensconced in a perpetual dusk, challenged his vision and his resolve. Shadows moved like silent spears, and the light of his feathers seemed dimmer here, its glow a whisper against the encompassing darkness. It was within this valley that Firo discovered the depth of his courage. The shadows, he realized, were not mere absences of light, but reflections of fear, doubt, and the unknown. As he flew, his feather's light grew stronger, not in defiance of the darkness, but in acceptance of it. The valley taught him that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to fly despite it. The stories of the Valley of Shadows were not of grand battles or mighty heroes, but of quiet strength, the courage it takes to face the unknown, and the power of light to guide through darkness. Fear learned to see not with his eyes, and with his heart, understanding that true vision comes from within. As he emerged from the valley, the world opened before him in a riot of color. The shadows behind him now are part of his journey. The river of whispers awaited its waters singing softly in the twilight, ready to share its tales of old regrets and new hopes. Fira's quest had only just begun, but the lessons of the Valley of Shadows would remain with him, a testament to the courage found in the flight toward darkness. Having emerged from the Valley of Shadows with a heart emboldened by newfound courage, Fira's journey made him next to the River of Whispers. This river, unlike any other, did not roar or rush. It flowed gently, its surface a mirror to the sky above, reflecting the journey of day to night and the dance of the seasons. Its whispers were soft murmurs of water caressing the shore, carrying stories from the heart of the forest to the depths of the sea. As Fira descended towards the serpentine flow of the river, he noticed how the water shimmered with a luminescence that seemed to echo the glow of his guiding feather. The whispers grew louder, not in volume, but in clarity, as if the river sensed his purpose and was eager to share its tales. A first whisper told of a young deer who, trapped by the river during a fierce winter storm, learned to leap with grace and strength, finding her way across the icy tendrils of the river's embrace. This tale was not just of survival, but of the beauty in overcoming fear with grace. Another whisper spoke of a bear, lost and forlorn, who found solace by the river's edge. The water mirrored not just his visage, but the depth of his heart, reminding him that strength lies in knowing oneself, and in that knowledge finding the path back home. As Fira listened, he realized that the River of Whispers did not merely recount tales of old, but breathed life into the essence of what it means to hope, to strive, and to be reborn through understanding and compassion. Each whisper was a thread in the tapestry of the forest's soul, weaving stories of loss, discovery, joy, and redemption. The Falcon dipped his beak into the water, feeling its cool touch like a balm to his spirit. In a moment, a surge of connection flowed through him, a realization that every drop of water was a bearer of stories, a keeper of secrets, and a messenger of dreams. The river in its deitude was a vessel of the collective memory of the land, nurturing not just the body, but the spirit of all who sought its wisdom. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and purple, Firo took flight once more, following the river as it meandered through the forest. The lessons of the River of Whispers stayed with him, a gentle reminder of the power of listening, the strength found in understanding, and the beauty of reflecting on one's journey. His path now as the mountain man touched the sky, a place of daunting heights, of hidden truths. But Firo flew on, guided by the light of the feather and the courage found in the valley, with the wisdom of the river's whispers coursing through his veins. The journey was far from over, and many more tales awaited him. Yet, in the silent communion with the river, Firo had found a deeper purpose. He was not just a witness to these stories, but a part of them, a bearer of tales that would echo through the ages, inspiring all who dared to listen and learn from the whispering waters. Thus, with the River of Whispers at his back, and the mount looming ahead, Firo soared higher, ready to embrace the next chapter of his quest, carrying with him a eternal message of hope and the enduring power of stories whispered by the heart of the world. With the wisdom of the River of Whispers still echoing in his heart, Firo set his sights on the next landmark of his grand journey. The mountain that touched the sky, this majestic peak, cloaked in clouds and mystery, stood as a sentinel at the world's edge, its summit lost to the heavens, a place where the earth dared to embrace the infinite. The journey to the mountain was a test of resolve and endurance. Firo, guided by the light of ancient feather, flew over forests that grew sparse and meadows that gave way to stone and snow. The air grew thin and cold, a stark contrast to the warm embrace of the river's whispers. Here, the world seemed to hold its breath, and time itself paused in reverence to the mountain's grandeur. As Firo ascended, the wind sang of old battles fought against the sky, of the mountain's hard fire and ice, and of the spirits that danced in the aurora that crowned its peak. The tales were many, each a testament to the mountain's eternal watch over the land. Upon reaching the mountain's base, Firo encountered hard mounted goats. Their sore-footed to dance upon the mags, a marvel of grace and agility. From then Firo learned the lesson of perseverance and the strength found in unity. To reach the heights, one must trust in their path, and those who journey alongside them. The oldest goat imparted with a sage nod, his horns warmed by time and elements. With a newfound sense of camaraderie, Firo began his ascent. The climb was steep, the paths fraught with peril. Avalanches whispered threats from above, and crevices hid their gaping maws beneath blankets of snow. But with each beat of his wings, Firo felt the surge of determination that flowed from the man's spirit into his own. Halfway to the heavens, amidst a garden of ice and snow that sparkled under the eternal stars, Firo found the dragon of the north, a creature of myth and legend, its scales shimmering like the aurora. The dragon, seeing the light of the ancient feather, bowed its mighty head in respect. "Falcon of the Emerald Forest, what wisdom do you seek at the world's roof?" The dragon's voice rumbled like thunder, yet carried the warmth of a hearthless fire. "I seek the stories of courage and freedom, to share with all who yearn to hear them," Firo replied, his voice steady despite the awe that failed him. The dragon, with a nod of understanding, breathed a tale into the night. It spoke of a time when the mountain was no more than a hill, and how it yearned to touch the sky. Through eons, it faced the wrath of the elements, the shifting of the girth, and the carving of glaciers, growing with each trial, reaching ever higher, until it kissed the heavens. The mountain's journey is one of indomitable will and a belief in one's purpose, the dragon concluded, its eyes alight with the fires of wisdom. So too must you rise, Falcon, facing challenges by steps upon your path to the stars. Armed with the dragon's tail, Firo took flight once more, his spirit alight with the mountain's indomitable will. He had learned the essence of perseverance, of facing adversity with the certainty that each trial was but a step closer to one's dreams. A mountain that touched the sky, with its frozen gardens and ancient guardians, had bestowed upon Firo the strength to ascend beyond the confines of the earth, to reach for the infinite with wings unfurled. And as he soared from its peaks, leaving the realm of spirits and legends behind, Firo carried with him not just the stories of those who met, but the enduring truth that courage and freedom were not just tales to be told, but the beat of one's heart, or the mountain's lesson etched into his being. Firo flew onward, the ancient feather guiding him towards new horizons and the next chapter of his quest, ready to face the world with a heart as boundless as the sky itself. Upon leaving the realm of the mountain that touched the sky, Firo and his wings carried him across landscapes that whispered of the transition from the wild embrace of nature to the realms where the spirits of earth and air melded in harmony. It was here in the twilight of his journey through the mountain shadow that Firo encountered the lone wolf. The wolf was a creature of sublime beauty and solemn grace, his coat a tapestry of night and frost, as alight with the wisdom of the untamed wild. He stood upon a precipice that overlooked the vastness of the world below, a sentinel of the silent woods. Firo, drawn by the quiet dignity of the wolf, landed upon a nearby rock of rock, an ancient feather aglow with a soft light. "Noble wolf," Firo began, his voice a gentle intrusion upon the stillness. "I journey across the lands to gather stories of courage and freedom. May I learn from you?" The wolf turned his gaze upon Firo, a depth of understanding in his eyes that spoke of a life lived beyond the confines of the ordinary. "Falcon of the Emerald Forest," the wolf replied, his voice a melody woven from the wind and the whisper of leaves. "You seek the essence of freedom, yet it surrounds you. He gestured with a nod of his head to the world spread out below them, a tapestry of light and shadow. Freedom is not merely the flight or the roar. It is found in the acceptance of one's path, in the embrace of one's destiny, or the heart unburdened by the chains of doubt." The wolf then shared his tale, a story not of heroic deeds or grand adventures, but of a journey of the soul. Once a member of a proud pack, he had chosen the path of solitude to discover the essence of his spirit, to learn the strength found in silence and the wisdom born of solitude. His was a quest not for dominance, but for understanding, a search for the place where the spirit dances free upon the winds of fate. To know freedom, the wolf continued, one must listen to the voice within, to find the courage to follow one's heart, even when it leads into the shadows. For within those shadows, within the solitude, lies the light of true understanding. Firo, moved by the wolf's words, felt a resonance within his own heart. He had flown far and witnessed much, yet the lesson of the lone wolf spoke to a freedom that was not just of the body, but of the soul. A freedom found in the courage to be true to oneself, to embrace one's path with both its trials and its triumphs. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, casting a golden glow over the world, Firo understood that his journey was not just one of witness, but of discovery. Each tale, each lesson, was a reflection of the many facets of courage or freedom, a mosaic of the spirit's quest for understanding, with heart filled with gratitude. Firo took flight once more, the lone wolf's lesson a beacon within him. He knew now that the stories he sought were not just to be shared, but to be lived. Each were a thread in the tapestry of the great dance of life. And so, with the dawn heralding the next chapter of his journey, Firo soared into the burgeoning light, ready to embrace the endless sky, with wings unfettered and a spirit unbound. For in the lessons of the forest, the river, the mountain, and the wolf, he had found the essence of freedom, the courage to live one's truth, to fly in the wings of destiny, and to share the light of understanding with the world. Thus concludes the tale of Firo, the noble falcon, whose journey through lands both vast and wondrous taught him the true meaning of courage and freedom, a legacy of wisdom to light the paths of those who dare to dream and soar. Chapter 2. The Journey Beyond. With the wisdom of the lone wolf nestled deep within his heart, Firo embarked upon a new chapter of his journey. His path now veered into realms unknown, lands that whispered of mysteries and marvels beyond the comforting embrace of the familiar. The first of these realms was the desert of forgotten songs, a vast expanse of shifting sands and scorching sun, where the wind carried echoes of melodies lost to time. As Firo wings bore him over this barren landscape, I marveled at its stark beauty, the way the dunes rippled like waves. In an ocean of sand, the sun casting shadows that danced like spirits of the air. It was the silence that held him captive, a silence so profound that it seemed to hum with the weight of unspoken stories. In this desolate expanse, life clung to existence with a tenacity that spoke of untold resilience. Fear watched as a caravan of camels moved like shadows across the sun-baked earth, their feet treading softly upon the sands. their bodies swaying in rhythm with the ancient songs of the desert. It was here, amidst the solitude and the endless sky, that Firo encountered the scorpion of the sands. The scorpion, with its armor gleaming like polished stone under the sun's gaze, paused in its journey across the dunes to regard Firo. "Noble Falcon," it said, its voice a whisper carried on the wind. "What brings you to the desert of forgotten songs? Whether earth sings of sorrow and endurance?" Firo, moved by the solemn dignity of the scorpion's mien, replied, "I seek the stories of courage and freedom, to learn from them and share their wisdom with the world." The scorpion nodded, its tail arching gracefully over its back. "Then listen well, for the desert holds many tales. Ours is a story of survival, of finding life in the heart of desolation. We thrive where others falter, drawing strength from the very saints that seek to claim us." It spoke then of the creatures of the desert, each with their own song of survival. The lizard that danced across the hot sands, its feet barely touching the surface, taught the lesson of adaptability. The cactus, blooming with vibrant flowers amidst the thorns, sang of resilience and the beauty that flourishes in adversity. And the night sky, a tapestry of stars emblazoned by the lights of civilization, whispered of eternity in the smallness of one's own existence. To survive the desert, the scorpion concluded, is to remember the songs of old, to carry within you the melody of perseverance and the harmony of existence in the face of oblivion. We are the keepers of forgotten songs, the guardians of stories that endure beneath the mirror of silence. Firo, his heart touched by the scorpion's words, felt a profound sense of connection to the desert and its inhabitants. Here, in a land that seemed devoid of life, he'd found a wellspring of courage, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who call the desert home. As he took flight once more, leaving the desert of forgotten songs behind, Firo carried with him the melodies of resilience and the harmonies of survival. The desert had taught him that even in the harshest of conditions, life finds a way to sing its song. A reminder that courage and freedom are not just found in the light, but in the shadows and the silence, waiting to be heard. And so, with the songs of the desert echoing in his soul, Firo soared towards the next destination of his journey, the city of hidden faces, ready to uncover the stories that lay hidden within its walls, each beat of his wings a note in a symphony of his quest. Leaving the echoing silence of the desert for forgotten songs behind, Firo's wings next bore him to a place starkly different, yet similarly profound in its lessons. The city of hidden faces emerged on the horizon, its spires and domes glinting under the sun. A labyrinth of streets hiding more than just the shadows of its structures. As Firo descended, he noticed the inhabitants moving like wraiths among the alleys and bazaars, each one wearing a mask that obscured their true selves. These were masks of exquisite craftsmanship, depicting everything from serene beauty to fearsome beasts, that they served a purpose beyond mere adornment. They were shields against vulnerability, harness hiding the essence of the soul from the prying eyes of the world. Intrigued by this peculiar custom, Firo alighted upon the ornate balcony of an ancient library, the repository of this city's collective wisdom and history. It was here he was greeted by the Owl of Insight, a keeper of knowledge whose mask bore the emblem of an open book, its pages fluttering like wings. "Noble Falcon," now went on, its voice echoing softly in the vast chamber, "you seek the stories of courage and freedom. Yet, here in the city of hidden faces, our tale is one of the courage to reveal one's true self." The Owl of Insight spoke of a time when the city was not a maze of hidden identities, but a place where hearts and souls were as open as the sky. A calamity had befallen, a great sorrow that taught the inhabitants to shield themselves behind facades, believing that in concealment they would find protection from the pains of the world. Yet, the Owl continued, "True courage lies not in hiding, but in the willingness to be seen, to stand in the light of one's truth. For only when we remove our masks can we truly connect, can we truly be free." Firo listened, his heart moved by the owl's words. He pondered the masks he had encountered, the faces unseen, the stories untold. Hannah asked, can one find the courage to remove the mask, to reveal what lies beneath? The owl of insight spoke of a time when the city was not a maze of hidden identities, but a place where hearts and souls were as open as the sky. A calamity had befallen, a great sorrow that taught the inhabitants to shield themselves behind facades, believing that in concealment they would find protection from the pains of the world. Yet, the owl continued, true courage lies not in hiding, but in the willingness to be seen, to stand in the light of one's truth. For only when we remove our masks can we truly connect, can we truly be free. Firo listened, his heart moved by the owl's words. He pondered the masks he had encountered, the faces unseen, the stories untold. Hannah asked, can one find the courage to remove the mask, to reveal what lies beneath? The owl of insight fluttered down for its perch, leading Firo to a secluded courtyard at the heart of the library. Here, under the canopy of stars, stood the statue of the Unveiled, a figure with no mask, face serene in its naked honesty. Look upon the Unveiled, the owl whispered. It stands as a testament to the ultimate act of bravery, to live without disguise, to embrace one's imperfections and find strength in vulnerability. The journey to remove one's mask is personal and fraught with fear, but it is a path that leads to true freedom, the liberation of the soul. Firo felt the truth of the owl's words resonate within him. The city of hidden faces, with its veiled inhabitants and obscure truths, was a mirror reflecting the many ways in which fear could bind the spirit, concealing the beauty of one's true nature. As dawn painted the sky with hues of promise, Firo took flight once more, his heart alight with newfound understanding. The city of hidden faces had revealed to him the courage it takes to be seen, to stand in one's truth amidst a world that often demands conformity. With the wisdom of the desert of forgotten songs and the city of hidden faces woven into the fabric of his being, Firo soared toward the garden of eternal spring, eager for the lessons of renewal and maybe of Chither. Thus, the journey of Firo of the noble Falcon continued, each windbeat a step further into the unknown, each story a thread in the tapestry of courage and freedom that he was destined to share with the world. After the revelations of the city of hidden faces, Firo's journey carried him over landscapes of shifting sands and through the whispers of ancient winds, until the verdant embrace of the garden of eternal spring unfolded beneath him. This garden was a symphony of life, where flowers bloomed in endless cycles and trees bore fruit regardless of season, a testament to the earth's perpetual rebirth and resilience. As Firo descended into the heart of this lush paradise, he was greeted by the fragrance of blossoms or a melody of streams that danced through the groves and meadows. It was here, amid the eternal bloom, that he met the butterfly of transformation, its wings a kaleidoscope of colors that mirrored the garden's vibrancy. Welcome, noble Falcon, to the garden of eternal spring, the butterfly said, its voice as gentle as the rustle of leaves. Here, in the ceaseless cycle of growth and renewal, lies the lesson of change, the beauty of letting go to embrace the new. The butterfly of transformation spoke of its journey from caterpillar to chrysalis, from confinement to the freedom of the skies. It was a tale of trust in the process of becoming, a surrender to the transformation that leads to the unveiling of one's true essence. Firo listened, enthralled by the butterfly's story, realizing that change was not something to be feared, it embraced as an integral part of life's journey. But how does one find the courage to embrace such change? Firo inquired, thinking of the many who, like those in the city of hidden faces, might fear to shed their masks and reveal their true selves. Faith in the journey, the butterfly replied, fluttering around Firo in a dance of light and color. And trust in the wisdom that each phase of our life brings us closer to our true selves. It is in the letting go of the old that we make room for the new. In the surrender to the unknown that we discover our true strength. The garden around him seemed to echo the butterfly's words, each blossom, and leave a testament to the cycles of life, to the eternal dance of shedding and blooming. Firo saw that the garden was not static but in constant motion, a living entity that embraced change as its very essence. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of crimson and gold, Firo took flight, his heart filled with the lessons of the garden of eternal spring. He understood now that courage was not only found in the act of facing one's fears, and in the vulnerability of embracing change, in the faith that took to let go of the familiar and step into the new, with the wisdom of the desert, the city, and now the garden woven into the fabric of his being. Firo soared towards the next destination of his journey, the bridge of the starry night, ready to uncover the mysteries of connection and unity and diversity. Thus, the saga of Firo, the noble Falcon, continued, his quest a beacon of light in the search for courage and freedom. Each discovery a thread in the ever-unfolding tapestry of his grand journey. From the verdant splendor of the garden of eternal spring, Firo's wings carried him toward a realm where the earth kissed the heavens, leading him to the bridge of the starry night. This was no ordinary bridge, but a marvel spanning the gap between disparate lands. Its arches painted with the twilight hues and dusk and dawn, reflecting the constellations above. As Firo alighted upon this magnificent structure, he felt a thrill of connection, a pulsating energy that spoke of unity and the intertwining of destinies. The bridge with its starlit path seemed to whisper tales of travelers who had crossed from one end to the other. Each journey a thread in the fabric of the universe. It was here, under the canopy of the cosmos, that Firo encountered the turtle of time, an ancient creature whose shell bore the patterns of the constellations. The turtle moved with deliberate grace, each step a measured beat in the eternal dance of the heavens. "Welcome, noble Falcon, to the bridge of the starry night," the turtle of time spoke, its voice echoing the depth of the ages. "This bridge is a testament to the connections that bind us all, a reminder that we are but stars in a greater constellation, each light essential to the whole." The turtle told Firo of the bridge's creation, forged in a time when the world was young, to serve as a reminder of the unity and diversity. It spoke of the myriad travelers who had crossed, each with their own story, their own dreams, and how, in crossing, they became part of a larger story, a tapestry woven from the threads of their experiences. But how? Firo asked, his heart stirred by the turtle's words. Can we remember this connection in a world that often seeks to divide us? By remembering that each of us carries a piece of the sky within us, that each story, each life, is a note in the symphony of existence, the turtle of time replied. The bridge serves not just to connect lands, but hearts and souls, reminding us that in the vastness of the cosmos, we are not alone. Firo looked out across the bridge, seeing it not just as a structure of stone and magic, but as a symbol of the invisible bonds that connect every life, every story. He realized that his journey, too, was a crossing of this bridge, a journey not just across lands, but through the hearts of those he met. As the first light of dawn began to shimmer on the horizon, Firo spread his wings, ready to continue his quest. He carried with him the wisdom of the turtle of time, the understanding that his story was part of a greater constellation, a star in the infinite sky of tales. With the knowledge of the desert of forgotten songs, the city of hidden faces, the garden of eternal spring, and now the bridge of the starry night, Firo flew towards the Isle of the Ancestors, his heart eager for the lessons of the past, the wisdom it had. Thus, the Odyssey of Firo, the noble Falcon, wove through the fabric of the world. Each beat of his wings a testament to the courage and freedom found in the unity of diversity, in the eternal bridge that connects us all under the starry night. With the wisdom of the bridge of the starry night echoing in his heart, Firo set his sights on the horizon with a sea met the sky, a line of shimmering light. The journey took him over the vast, whispering ocean, where the waves told tales of old, until at last, the Isle of the Ancestors emerged from the mist. a timeless place where the past breathed with the present. This sacred isle, cloaked in an eternal verdure, was where the spirits of the ancestors dwelled, guardians of ancient wisdom and lore. The air here was thick with the scent of salt and earth, and the trees whispered secrets of old, the leaves rustling with the voices of generations long past. Firo landed softly on the verdant earth, feeling the weight of many eyes upon him. It was here in the heart of the isle that he was greeted by the Lion of Legacy, a majestic creature whose mane shimmered with the hues of dawn. The lion's eyes held the depth of centuries, and its voice resonated with the strength of the ancestral spirits. "Welcome, noble Falcon, to the Isle of the Ancestors," the Lion of Legacy spoke, its tone imbued with the gravity of ages. "Here, where the veil between the past and present is thin, we safeguard the wisdom of our forebears, teaching those who seek to learn from the lessons that time has sown." The lion led Firo through the aisle, showing him the ancient groves where the spirits of the ancestors gathered, the form shimmering between the veils of reality. It spoke of the importance of remembering where one came from, honoring the journeys of those who walked the path before, and of the strength found in the roots that connected the present to the past. "Each life is a leaf on the great tree of existence," the Lion of Legacy said, gesturing to a mighty oak at the center of the aisle, its branches stretching towards the heavens. "To understand oneself, one must understand the branches from which they stem, for the wisdom of the ancestors is a beacon that guides us through the darkness." Firo listened, his soul stirred by the profound connection he felt to the countless lives that had preceded his own. He realized that his journey was not just his alone, but was woven from the threads of countless others, each ancestor a story that contributed to his own. But how? Firo asked, can we ensure that the wisdom of the past is not lost? That the voices of our ancestors continue to guide us? By listening, the Lion of Legacy replied, its gaze piercing the veil of time. By keeping their stories alive in our hearts and sharing them with the world. For in their tales lie the seeds of the future, a legacy of courage and freedom that will flourish long after we return to the earth. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the isle in a golden light, Firo took flight, his spirit enriched by the profound lessons of the Isle of the Ancestors. He carried with him knowledge that his story was but a part of a greater saga, a tapestry of life woven from the lives of those who had come before. With the wisdom of the Isle hatched in his heart, Firo soared towards the storm of fates, ready to face the future with the courage and freedom bestowed upon him by the past. Thus, Firo's odyssey continued a journey not just across the lands, but through the very fabric of time, each discovery a testament to the enduring legacy of the ancestors and the eternal cycle of life. Leaving the Isle of the Ancestors, where the echoes of the past guided the present, Firo's wings beat against the sky, carrying him toward his next destination. The horizon darkened as he approached the storm of fates, a tempest where the future whispered in the howling winds and the raindrops foretold the path yet to be walked. This storm was no ordinary tempest, but a swirling vortex at the world's edge, where time and destiny entwine, revealing the myriad possibilities of what was to come. Lightning danced across the sky, illuminating the clouds that roiled with the power of unseen forces, and the thunder spoke in riddles of courage, fear, hope, and despair. As Firo flew closer, the wind's wail became a chorus of voices, each one singing of potential futures, of trials and triumphs that lay ahead. The storm was both a barrier and a gateway, challenging those who dared to enter to face their deepest fears and emerge with the strength to shape their own destinies. Within the heart of the tempest, where the lightning forged the sky and the rain cleansed the soul, Firo found himself facing the dragon of destiny, a magnificent creature whose scales shimmered with the light of possibilities. Its eyes were pools of prophecy, gazing into the very essence of those who sought its wisdom. Fear not, noble Falcon, for you scorn the fates to seek the knowledge of what may come. The dragon of destiny spoke, its voice a symphony of the future's myriad paths. The storm tests the courage of all who enter, For to face the future, one must confront the uncertainty within themselves. The dragon unfurled its great wings, enveloping Firo in a gust of wind that bore the sense of worlds unseen and times unspent. It whispered of the challenges Firo would face, of the decisions that would shape his journey and the journeys of those whose lives he touched. Remember, brave Falcon, that the future is not set in stone. The dragon of destiny chancelled. It is shaped by the choices we make, by the courage to fly into the storm and the strength to emerge on the other side. Your journey is a testament to the power of freedom, to the spirit that soars beyond the confines of fate. With those words, the storm abated, revealing a sky painted with the hues of dawn, a promise of the new beginnings that each day held. Fearing his heart alight with newfound wisdom, soared from the heart of the tempest, his spirit buoyed by the knowledge that the future was his to shape. Guided by the courage and freedom that had led him thus far, the storm of fate, with its trials and revelations, had shown Fir that the journey of life was an ever-unfolding tapestry of choices, each thread woven from the decisions made in the face of destina's tempest. And as he flew towards the Cave of Echoes, the final leg of his odyssey, he carried with him the understanding that every story, every life, was a part of the greater story of the world, each one a note in the symphony of existence. Thus Firo's quest continued a flight, not just across the breadth of the land, but through the depths of the soul, each discovery a feathering the wings of his spirit, carrying him towards the echoes of eternity. Upon leaving the storm of fates where the future had whispered its myriad paths, Firo's journey led him to the threshold of the Cave of Echoes. Nestled in the heart of an ancient forest, where the trees stood as silent witnesses to the passage of eons, the cave is a portal to the realm of stories, a place where every voice that had every song whispered or shouted was preserved. The entrance to the cave was veiled in vines, each leaf trembling with the weight of untold tales. As Firo approached, the air thrummed with the power of words left unspoken, of stories waiting to be heard. With a deep breath, he crossed the threshold, his feathers brushing against the cool dampness of the cave. Inside, the walls pulsed with a soft luminescence, guiding Firo deeper into the heart of the cave. The air was thick with whispers, each echo a fragment of a story for the dawn of time of the present day. The cave did not discriminate. The tales of kings and paupers, of heroes and villains, of love lost and found, all resonated with the same intensity within this timeless archive. As Firo ventured further, he came upon the guardian of the echoes, a creature as old as the stories it protected. Its eyes were deep pools of silence, and its voice was the sound of pages turning, each word imbued with the weight of history. "Welcome, Firo, seeker of truths and teller of tales," the guardian intoned. "This cave holds the stories of the world, preserved for eternity. Each echo is a life lived, a decision made, a destiny fulfilled." Firo, humbled by the presence of the guardian and the magnitude of the cave's purpose, bowed his head. "I have journeyed far, witnessed much, and learned from the stories of courage and freedom across the lands. But I seek to understand, how can these echoes serve the world beyond this cave?" The guardian's gaze softened, and it gestured to the walls, where the echoes grew louder, weaving a tapestry of sound around them. "These stories are the soul of the world, a reminder of our shared humanity and the bonds that tie us to each other. They teach, comfort, inspire, and warn. By listening to these echoes, we understand not just others, but ourselves. The journey, Firo, is itself a story that will echo within these walls. By sharing what you have witnessed, you contribute to the ever-unfolding narrative of existence. Each story has the power to change the world, one heart at a time." Moved by the guardian's words, Firo realized that his quest was not just about the pursuit of wisdom across the lands, but about weaving his own experiences into the fabric of the world's stories with a newfound resolve. He vowed to share the tales of courage and freedom he'd gathered, to become a bridge between the echoes of the past and the voices of the future. As he prepared to leave the Cave of Echoes, the Guardian spoke once more. "Remember, Firo, every story matters. No voice is too small, no tale too insignificant. The power of story transcends time, connecting us all in the great web of life." With the Guardian's blessing, Firo emerged from the cave, his heart alight with purpose. The world outside seemed brighter, filled with the potential of untold stories waiting to be discovered and shared. Thus, with the wisdom of the Cave of Echoes etched in his spirit, Firo took to the skies once more, ready to share the tales of courage and freedom that had guided his journey. His quest had shown him that every creature, every life, was a story worth telling. And, in the sharing of these stories, the world would find unity, understanding, and hope. And so the Falcon's flight continued, a never-ending journey through the tapestry of tales that wove the fabric of the world, each story a thread of light in the vast tapestry of existence. Chapter 3. A Return of the Falcon. Under the vast canopy of the emerald forest, where the light danced through the leaves, and the air was thick with the promise of dawn, Firo, the noble falcon, returned to the realm of his kin. His journey across the lands through realms of wonder had imbued his spirit with tales of courage, wisdom, and freedom. With his heart a vessel of stories waiting to be poured out, he sought to share the treasures of his odyssey with the animal kingdom. The ancient oak, towering wise, stood at the heart of the forest, its branches a testament to the passage of time. Beneath its protective boughs, Firo called upon the creatures of the forest, his voice carrying across the verdant expanse, summoning them to a gathering unlike any before. From the smallest ant to the most majestic deer, the animals heeded Firo's call, drawn by the promise of shared wisdom and the unity of their diverse voices. As the animals assembled, a hush fell over the forest, the kind of silence that speaks louder than words, pregnant with anticipation. Firo perched upon the ancient oak's highest branch, his gaze sweeping over the sea of faces below, each one a thread in the intricate tapestry of the forest's life. "Friends," Firo began, his voice resonant with the echoes of his journey. "I've flown far and wide, over mountains that scrape the sky, through storms that whisper of fate, and into caves that echo with the stories of the world. I have witnessed courage in the face of fear, wisdom in the pursuit of truth, and joy in the darkest of times. These stories, these fragments of life, were the gifts I bring to you." The first tale Firo shared was that of the brave rabbit, who, despite her trembling heart, ventured into the shadowy woods to save her family from peril. Her courage, Firo recounted, was a beacon that shone brightly in the night, guiding her to triumph against the lurking fears. Next, he spoke of the wise old tortoise, whose determination and steady pace revealed the strength that lies in patience and persistence. The tortoise's journey, a race against doubt and derision, was a testament to the enduring power of belief in one's own path. The dancing fox, whose spirit could not be caged by the darkness that had fallen over his home, was the third tale Firo shared. Through dance, the fox brought light and laughter back to the hearts of his community, reminding all of the joys of flame that can be kindled even in the bleakest of times. With each story, the animals of the forest found themselves reflected in the tales of courage, wisdom, and freedom. The bravery of the rabbit, the persistence of the tortoise, and the joy of the fox became more than just stories. It became lessons, sparks that ignited a fire of inspiration within each tumor's heart. As the gathering drew close, The forest was alight with the glow of newfound understanding. The animals, once divided by their differences, now stood united by the common threads of their shared stories. Fira's journey, his quest for wisdom, and the sharing of his experiences had woven a bond of unity and purpose among the denizens of the Emerald Forest. In the silence that followed, the air seemed down with the energy of 1,000 untold stories, each waiting for its moment to be shared. Fairy's voice, now soft with the weight of his journey's end, carried a final message to his gathered kin. Let these tales be the seeds of courage, wisdom, and joy in your hearts. Share them. Let them grow and remember that we are all part of the greater story of life. Our voices, together, could shape the future. As the animals dispersed, carrying the ember of Firas within them, the forest whispered with the promise of new stories to be told, of lives intertwined in the endless dance of existence. Firo, the falcon whose flight had spanned worlds, had returned, not just as a storyteller, but as a weaver of connections, a bringer of unity through the timeless power of shared stories. In the hush that followed Firo, all together, as the denizens of the Emerald Forest settled beneath the ancient oak's sprawling branches, the falcon began the first of his tales, a story that had touched his heart deeply during his travels. The tale of the brave rabbit. Deep in the heart of a forest, not unlike our own, Fira's voice wove through the air, lived a small rabbit. Her fur as white as moonlight and her eyes filled with the curiosity of the stars. Her name was Lyra, and she was known among her kind for her gentle spirit and her love for adventure. But Lyra's world was not without its shadows. The great peril had come to the forest, the darkness that crept silently, stealing away the warmth of the sun in the comfort of the night's embrace. There was a beast of legend, a creature that fed on fear and despair, casting a shadow over the heart of the forest. The animals lived in fear, their once joyful songs turned to whispers of worry. But Lyra, small and seemingly frail, decided that fear would not dictate the fate of her home. With courage that belied her size, she ventured into the depths of the forest to confront the beast, armed with nothing but her resolve and the light of her pure heart. Firo paused, allowing the weight of Lyra's decision to settle among his audience, their eyes wide with anticipation. In the darkest part of the forest, where the trees were so tall they seemed to swallow the sky, Lyra found the beast. It was as terrifying as the tales told, with eyes like molten fire and claws that could tear the earth asunder. But when it turned its gaze upon Lyra, it found not the fear it craved but a challenge. A light that refused to be extinguished. Lyra spoke to the beast, her voice steady and clear. Your darkness has spread over all, but I stand before you, not in defiance, but with an eye for understanding. You bring fear, yet what you seek is acceptance. Let us find a path to coexist, to bring back the balance between light and shadow. The beast, taken aback by Lyra's bravery and the truth in her words, found itself at a crossroads. For the first time, it saw itself through the eyes of another, not as a creature of darkness, but as a part of the forest's tapestry, integral to the cycle of life. In the silence that followed, the forest itself seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the outcome of this unlikely confrontation. Then, as if touched by the light of Lyra's courage, the beast lowered its gaze, its heart moved by the rabbit's offer of peace and understanding. Fear apart, his gaze swept over his audience, each creature hanging on his every word. Lyra and the beast reached an accord, and together, they worked to restore the balance of the forest. The beast learned to temper its shadow with light, and in turn, the forest's heart was healed. Lyra returned to her kin, no longer just a rabbit of gentle spirit, but a beacon of courage, a testament to the strength and the strength that resides in the hearts of all, no matter how small. The tale of a brave rabbit, Firo concluded, is a reminder that courage can come from the most unexpected places, and that understanding and compassion can end even the deepest of divides. Lyra's story, like all stories of bravery, lit a fire in our hearts, urging us to face our fears with a steadfast heart. As Fionn did, a murmur of awe and inspiration rustled through the forest. A breeze of change stirred by the tale of a small rabbit who faced the darkness with a heart full of light. The animals, each moved by Lyra's story, found within themselves a renewed sense of courage and a reminder that bravery knows no bounds. As the embers of the first tale began to glow in the hundreds of the assembled creatures, Firo unfolded his wings slightly, a gesture that reclaimed the silence. He was ready to share the next tale, a story from a land where time seemed to flow more gently, but where the lessons were just as profound. The realm of sun-kissed plains and ancient airs, Firo began, his voice carrying warmth of distant ways. Levi toward his soul that the stories of his youth were entwined with the very beginnings of the world. His name was Alden, and he was revered not only for his age, but for his wisdom, a wisdom born from a lifetime of observing the world in its constant dance of change. Alden, in his many years, had seen the rise and fall of countless seasons, the births and departures of generations, an endless cycle of life, and moved around him that the waters of the great river he called home. Yet, despite his vast knowledge, Alden was humble, always willing to share his insights with those who sought them. One day, a challenge was brought before the creatures of the plains. A great boulder had rolled into the heart of their land during a fierce storm, blocking the path to the river, a path that was essential for their survival. The strongest among them had tried to move the stone, pushing with all their might, but the boulder remained unmoved, as if it were as much a part of the earth as the mountains themselves. The animals fell into despair, fearing that without access to the river, their lives would soon wither away like leaves in the dry season. It was then that Alden, who had watched the efforts of his friends with quiet contemplation, offered a solution. The strength of one may falter, Alden said, his voice steady and calm, but the strength of many, united in purpose, and overcome even the greatest of obstacles. With those words, Alden led the way, moving with purposeful slowness towards the boulder. One by one, the animals joined him, each adding their strengths to the collective effort. Inspired by the tortoise's wisdom and unwavering belief in their unity, under the guidance of Alden, they worked together, coordinating their efforts with a patience and determination that mirrored the tortoise's own. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the boulder began to move. It took time, and the progress was measured not in moments, but in the shared breaths of all who pushed, yet the impossible became possible. Together, they rolled the boulder away, reopening the path to the river, the lifeblood of their land. Fearer gaze swept over his listeners, each creature captivated by the story of cooperation and collective strengths. The story of the wise old tortoise. He continued to teach us that wisdom lies not in using our strength against each other, but in understanding the power of unity. Alden showed his friends that by coming together, by listening and learning from one another, there is no challenge too great to overcome. In the end, Alden's wisdom was a beacon that guided his community through darkness, a reminder that the most profound strength comes from a heart, and that together we are always stronger. As the tale of Alden the tortoise settled among the leaves and the soft whispers of the forest, a sense of togetherness enveloped the gathering. The animals, each reflecting on the wisdom imparted by Fear and story, understood that their differences were not divides but connections, threads in the intricate tapestry of life that bound them in an unbreakable bond of unity and purpose. In the hushed anticipation that followed the tale of Alden, Fear's feathers shimmered under the dappled light of an ancient oak. He readied himself to share yet another story, one that seemed to dance in the very breeze that rustled the leaves around him. a corner of the world where the forests sing with the colors of the sunset, and the night sky is a canvas for the stars. In this ballet of the fox named Alara, but the intuitive. Alara was no ordinary fox. Here held the hues of the twilight. Her eyes sparkled with the magic of the aurora. But what made Alara truly special was her gift for dance. Alara danced from the moment the sun kissed the horizon till the moon held dominion over the night. She danced not for an audience, but for the sheer joy of movement, for the way it made her feel, as if she was a part of the earth song. Her dancing was a celebration of life itself, a testament to the beauty of the moment. However, a shadow loomed over Alara's forest, a creeping despair that drained the color from the world. A great sorrow had befallen the land, a sorrow so deep that it silenced the songs of the birds and stilled the winds. The forest creatures, once vibrant with life, now moved as if in a dream, their spirits weighed down by an invisible burden. Alara, with her heart as brave as her spirit was free, refused to succumb to this pall of despair. She resolved to use her gift to awaken the hearts of the forest, to remind them of the joy that still existed even in the darkest of times. With this purpose fueling her steps, Alara began to dance as she had never danced before. She danced at the break of dawn, her movements a tribute to the promise of a new day. She danced under the noon sun, her silhouette a fleeting, graceful contrast against the vibrant green. And she danced beneath the cloak of night, her figure illuminated by the soft glow of the moon. A beacon of hope in the darkness. As Alara danced, something wondrous began to happen. The birds, intrigued by the beauty of her movements, started to sing again, their melodies tentative at first but growing stronger with each passing day. The wind, inspired by Alara's perseverance, began to dance with her, carrying her joy and laughter through the forest. One by one, the creatures of the forest emerged from their despair, drawn to Alara's dance. Their spirits lifting as they were reminded of the beauty and wonder that surrounded them. Alara's dance became a legend, a story told and retold through generations, as the dance of the fox who brought light to the darkest of times. Her legend taught the creatures of the forest, and all who heard her story, that there is always hope, that joy can be found even in the most unlikely places, and that sometimes the courage to express oneself freely can inspire and tie back to the light, to the light. Firo's story of the dancing fox, Alara, settled softly upon the gathering, like the gentle touch of the first snowfall upon the earth. The animals, each moved by the tale of courage, joy, and the transformative power of expression, felt a lightness in their hearts, a stirring of hope and a rekindling of a spark that many thought had been lost. The legend of the dancing fox, Firo concluded, his gaze passing over his rapt audience, reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, a single act of joy, and the courage to share that joy to illuminate the shadows. As the final echoes of Firo's tales faded into the evening, a profound silence enveloped the clearing beneath the ancient oak. The animals, from the smallest field mouse to the oldest deer, were wrapped in a reflecting dew, their hearts full of the stories of courage, freedom, and joy they had just heard. Firo, the noble falcon whose journey had spanned realms both vast and intimate, perched upon a gnarled branch, his gaze soft yet piercing, as if he could see into the very souls of his listeners. Then, as if summoned by the collective spirit of the gathering, a gentle wind began to stir. It whispered through the leaves of the ancient oak, caressed the fur and feathers of the assembled animals, and seemed to carry with it the essence of the stories they had shared. This was no ordinary breeze. It was the epilogue of the winds, a magical current that wove the essence of Fair's journey into the tapestry of the world. The tales we have shared this day, Firo began, his voice melding with the wind, are more than mere stories. They are the threads that bind us, the melody of a song that echoes the heart of the wild. Each tale, a beacon, each lesson, a compass guiding us toward our truest selves. As he spoke, the wind grew stronger, lifting his feathers in a silent, powerful dance. It swept across the forest, rustling leaves and bending trees, carrying the essence of courage, freedom, and joy to the farthest corners of the land. It whispered to the bear in her den, sang to the eagle in her eyrie, and roared to the stag in his glade, telling them of the brave rabbit, the wise old tortoise, the lone wolf, the dancing fox, and the noble falcon who with it all. In our hearts we carry the power to face our fears, to embrace change, to stand united, and to find joy even in the darkest times. Firo continued, his voice now almost one with the wind. Let these stories remind us of who we are and who we can be. Let them be a testament to the strength that resides within each of us, waiting only for the courage to let it fly free. And with those final words, Firo spread his wings wide, embracing the wind's embrace. He lifted him higher and higher, until he was but a silhouette against the setting sun, a symbol of the unbreakable bond between all living beings and the stories that define them. The epilogue of the winds did not end with Firo's ascent. It was only the beginning. For as long as the wind blew, the stories would continue to spread, igniting hearts and inspiring souls across the world. The animals of the Emerald Forest, now custodians of these tales, would carry them forward, sharing them with their king, and ensuring that the lessons of courage, freedom, and joy would never be forgotten. And so the legacy of Firo, awed, erstwhile, became an eternal part of the natural world, a whisper in the wind that spoke of the indomitable spirit of the wild, the unbreakable bonds of community. In the heart of the forest, under the watchful gaze of the ancient oak, the animal kingdom knew them no matter where their paths might lead. They were forever connected by the stories that danced on the winds, a timeless reminder that in every tale of courage and freedom